Whenever we want to conduct thematic analysis using MAXQDA, there is one thing that we should always do. That is, have a plan. We should always have a framework that we intend to use during the analysis. One of the most popular frameworks that was popularized by two scholars is the Braun and Clarke 6 steps framework of thematic analysis. Familiarizing with the data, generating initial codes, developing themes, reviewing themes, defining and naming themes, and writing the report. This is one of the most common approaches I use to conduct analysis. So MAXQDA is just a tool that will help me manage my data. It's not the main reason behind my analysis. No, I organize my analysis based on a clear framework like the Braun and Clarke 6 steps. Having known this, we can now open MAXQDA. So here we have MAXQDA. The first thing is to, of course, open a new project. Let's just call it new project. As usual, in MAXQDA, when we open it, we'll see some menus. There is this top menu that has the main tools like home, import codes, and so on and so forth. There is another menu below it that has text, PDF tables, transcripts, focus group transcripts, import, and all that. There is this section here where we will see the data once we import it, and there is this section where we're going to see our codes once we try to get codes. Then there is this section where we're going to see the transcripts.
Let me interrupt this video for a minute and pose this question to you. Are you overwhelmed by qualitative data analysis? I've got you covered with 2 specialized services tailored just for you. But before I tell you of my services, let me first begin by informing you that I have an average 5-star rating from the previous clients that I've worked with, both in the done for you and in the consulting service. Now, here are the 2 services that I provide to help you in analyzing your qualitative data. The first service is the done for you qualitative data analysis service. In this service, I handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on the bigger picture. My service includes meticulous manual coding, where I code every word for meaningful insights, theme development, where I identify patterns that matter the most, data visualization, where I provide stunning visuals to tell your data story, findings report, where I provide a ready-to-use findings report for the 4th chapter of your thesis or dissertation, and a walkthrough video recording, which is a step-by-step explanation of how I analyze your data using MAXQDA. The second service I provide is one-on-one MAXQDA consulting. In this service, we hop on a video call via Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and in just a few hours, I'll help you become a MAXQDA Pro. Whether you are a beginner or looking to refine your qualitative data analysis skills, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. So don't wait, contact me today. My details are in the description and in the pinned comment.
Now, I'm going to have a single transcript that I want to use for the purposes of this video, which I'm going to analyze. So I can drag and drop the transcript directly into this section of MAXQDA, and that's how I import that document. Because this is a basic introduction, I want to take you back to the framework that I just highlighted. So if we are following this framework and we are using MAXQDA to perform our thematic analysis, the first thing that we'll do is to familiarize the data. That means going to the transcript and reading it like a story to understand the context, the nuance of the responses. For example, let me just read this paragraph and then we come back. These are the transcripts of focus group discussions among resident physicians assessing their perceptions towards artificial intelligence, conducted from 2018 to 2019 at New York Presbyterian Columbia University Medical Center. So there is this person who was interviewing them. The first question can be kind of hit or miss depending on the field you are in. But do you guys have any exposure or experience with artificial intelligence, like either in your careers, your experiences now, or even outside your other lives? Then the person responds short, like reading an article in the paper, that's it. Then the researcher asks them, do you guys use any AI as far as you are aware of in your current practice in these days in ER? And the interviewee says, I feel like I use Google Translate, but that's it, no. Research member, do you guys know of anything coming down in the pipe in terms of like AI that people are trying to develop or look at in terms of emergency rooms? Then this person says there is some people have been playing around with seeing if you can use AI for ESI and assigning ESI levels for triage based off like vital signs and age? I think it doesn't. I seem to remember reading about something a while ago. I don't think it performed much better than human triages, but I think that's one role that I've seen in terms of using it for ESI prediction. Research member, you guys haven't heard of anything else maybe? Speaker, no. How do you guys think AI could change emergency medicine in the future? Speaker. So I think, yeah, I mean, again, yes, SI would be used for, basically triage and flow, I think, would be the most interesting ways of it affecting us, at least initially thinking about how we characterize patients and assess their severity. And then also we move them throughout the department, like who is capable for vertical triage. Basically, I'm just reading this transcript to familiarize. I've gotten the essence that if I conducted this study, I would know what I did here through transcription, reading again, cleaning up. I would know more about the study. Once I familiarize the data, I go to the second step suggested by Braun and Clarke, which is generating initial codes. What are codes? A code is a label or an interpretive statement to any information that's important to our research question. So by simply coding in MAXQDA, we are simply tagging information that we believe is important. For example, the first question can be kind of hit or miss depending on the field you are in, but do you guys have any exposure or experience with artificial intelligence? Like either in your careers, your experiences now, or even outside your other lives. So the question is, do they have any experiences with artificial intelligence? So that's the main question that this person is asking them. Speaker says, short of like reading an article in the paper, that's it. If you consider the question, and most of the times I like using either color codes or question as containers. For this example, I can use color code. Let's assume we go back to my original transcript. Let's assume we mark this. Let me just expand this. Let's assume we mark this question as red, the other question as green, the other question as blue. Let me not mark the answers. The other question as purple, the other question as yellow, and so on and so forth. That's not visible, so let's try find another shade of yellow. Or let me just use gold. Why am I marking these questions? Because I want to know where the codes came from. Let's just go back. You see the first question is red. Let's go back to MAXQDA and do some coding. So, do you guys have any exposure or experience with artificial intelligence? Like either in your careers, your experiences, now or even outside your other lives. Short of like reading an article in the paper, that's it. So this person says they have read about AI only, they don't have experience with it. Remember, this is between 2018 and 2019. AI was not as popular as it is today. So we can right click, select new code and type here, only read about AI. Click OK. Only read about AI. Remember, when you make a mistake, you can always right click, put a space, and you see the blue color. I don't want this to be blue. Remember, we tag that question as red. See, the color codes will show us where the codes came from originally, which will be important when combining codes to form themes, which is normally the other step. After we do all the coding, we have to combine our codes to form themes. Then, do you guys use any AI as far as you are aware of in your current practice? This AI these days in ER, I feel like I use Google Translate, but that's it. No. So I think the Google Translate uses a form of AI to recognize language. We can just code this as with new code, Google Translate. Click OK. Now remember the second question. Which color was it? Green. So I right click, color green. You see? Then do you guys know of anything like coming down in terms of like AI that people are trying to develop, look at in terms of emergency rooms? There are some people that have been playing around with seeing if you can use AI for ESI levels for triage based on vital signs and age. I think it doesn't. I seem to remember reading about something a while ago. I don't think it's performed much better than our human triages, but I think that's one role that I've seen in terms of using it for ESI prediction. So if we highlight the whole paragraph, let's just code this as ESI prediction. Remember, it's a use of AI in ESI prediction. Use of AI in ESI prediction. if you go back to our original transcript, that's light or sky blue kind of thing, and the code already has the color blue. You guys haven't heard of anything else, maybe speak and all. How do you guys think AI could change emergency medicine in the future? So I think, yeah, I mean, again, yes, I would be useful. I mean, basically triage, and I think it would be most interesting ways of it affecting us, at least initially, thinking about how we characterize patients and assess their severity, and then also how we move them throughout the department, like who's capable for vertical triage, who's capable for labs, and who has to come right back, who can wait in the waiting room. How to decompress bottlenecks in terms of care, like cause probably I think we are the highest days for us, since that so much of our effort these days are like operations built around like advanced modeling that could kind of think about how in real time to move patients around would probably be really useful. So this person says, how do they think AI will change medicine? Here they are saying the use of AI to make the triage process better, I think. So I can highlight this and say improving triage, and we can assign a color to this question. Let's see, like this one is gold, so I'm gonna select gold and click OK. Now you get the gist of it, or the sense of coding. We get as many codes as possible. We code transcript by transcript, document by document, and once we get all the codes, now based on the color codes, because sometimes we can have more than 2 codes from the same question, or a question is asked from this transcript and same question is asked to another participant in another transcript. That means the codes will have the same color code. That will help us easily combine these codes based on shared meaning to form themes when we use color codes or questions as containers. So this is a basic introduction to using MAXQDA for conducting thematic analysis. The main thing that I've said is you have to have an approach that you are using to conduct thematic analysis. In this case, our approach is the Braun and Clarke 6 steps. We have familiarizing with the data, generating initial codes, developing themes, reviewing themes, defining and naming themes, and writing the report. So this is what I would do. But for the purposes of this video, I wanted to introduce coding and the use of MAXQDA, and that's why I imported the transcript and showed you how to manage your codes. After that, now we combine codes to form themes. I've done this in my previous tutorials, and I'm going to link the other videos on how to move from codes to themes and so on and so forth, all the way to writing a findings report at the end of this video.
Remember, if you are feeling stuck with your data analysis chapter, don't stress. I'm here to help. I offer done for you qualitative data analysis using MAXQDA, and my done for you service includes coding, theme development, and visualization. On the other hand, if you prefer to learn and do the analysis yourself, I provide one-on-one MAXQDA consulting, where I'll guide you step by step to master MAXQDA in performing qualitative data analysis. Reach out to me right now. Check the description for my email and link to my website. Thank you.